Bassi for Akwa Ibom State Command. Commander Matthew Lonishoy, who has also joined us, we celebrate you. Thank you very much. The Controller of Corrections for Akwa Ibom State, Ezegu Julius, is also here with us. And of course, we also have the Commander of Narcotics, O.U. Bassi, who is the State Commander of the NDLEA. I had to take time to celebrate all of them today. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me welcome permanent secretaries and heads of extra-ministerial department who have joined His Excellency for this event. Members of the immediate past State Executive Council, we celebrate you. We have, I think, all the paramount rulers. I think all of them are here today. But that team is led by the representative of the Oku, Ibomibibio, who is the paramount ruler of Ibesikwa Sultan local government area. His Royal Majesty, Edidem III, Francis Ekpenyong. Please, can we celebrate all the paramount rulers who are here, our fathers. We thank you so much for joining us at these events. Thank you. Let me welcome the chairman of local government areas who have joined us here, led by the chairman of Algon, Honorable Nyobong Robson. We celebrate you. Thank you very much. The vice chairman of council, all of them are here in their numbers. We celebrate you. I'd like to welcome the chairman of the NLC and the NUJ and other labor unions that are here gathered. Please, we celebrate all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would have wanted to go further, but of course our time is getting limited, as you can already see. So I celebrate all the strategic stakeholders of the Akwa Ibom State Business and Development who are here. We thank you so much for coming out for these events this afternoon. May I ask that we put our hands together and celebrate ourselves one more time. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellency, the introductory formalities having been done, I'd like to, at this point, welcome, for the welcome remarks at this event, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State. Please put your hands together and celebrate Her Excellency, the distinguished Senator Dr. Akun Iyage.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, a man called by God, ready to work, ready to serve the people of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Bassi Eno. You're welcome, sir. The Honorable Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Udeme Otong, the Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Ekaite F.F. Obot, distinguished senators and members of the House of Representatives, please permit me to recognize the State Chairman of PDP, the Secretary to the State Government, the moderator, Barrister Ekanem, had done accurate recognition of all the dignitaries seated in this hall. So permit me to please adopt the protocol established by the moderator. Your Excellency, we cannot stop natural disasters, but we can arm ourselves with knowledge. So many lives wouldn't have to be lost if there was enough disaster preparedness. These words by Zeg Model, television host and philanthropist Petra Nemkova captures the spirit and essence of this important gathering. It's obvious we can't wish disasters away, but we are not altogether helpless either. Knowledge and proactive steps as taken by the national Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, through this great gathering can avert or reasonably mitigate the effects of disasters in our state. I want to appreciate that this important gathering is taking place in Akwa Ibom State to flag off this program that will cover the 31 local government, 36 states of the Federation. It is on this note that I thank the Director General and management of NEMA for this timely response to the 2023 seasonal climate predictions and the annual flood outlook released by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. Let me thank also the United Nations High Commission on Refugees and other donor agencies, as well as their sub-implementing partners for the great work, support, and partnership with the state government. If this meeting engenders the envisaged actions, we will have no reason to fear. Permit me, Your Excellency, to also appreciate NEMA for its various interventions in Akwa Ibom State, especially the ongoing special national economic livelihood emergency intervention, SNELI, which offers succor to victims of the last flood disaster in the state that happened in the year 2022. On assumption, Your Excellency, I briefed you about the relief materials that came, and the office of the Deputy Governor accordingly distributed those items to the 31 local governments that were represented by the local government chairman and the vice chairman. And accordingly, those relief materials have been given to the victims. Akwa Ibom State has experienced its fair share of natural disasters, and we can't afford to be caught off guard in future occurrences. In this regard, there's urgent need for capacity building of stakeholders in disaster management in the state and at the local government levels. Since time is of essence in disaster management, availability of work tools like good vehicles and other equipment imperative will be given to the agencies, particularly NEMA, to ensure that what they are expected to do in the states is done accurately. The frequency of flood disasters calls for a more proactive solution, such as establishment of IDP camps for flood victims in the states and training of staff in camp coordination and management. On its part, the Akwa Ibom State government shall spare no efforts in the determination to strengthen the state's emergency management agency, NIHSA, and the local emergency management committees in the 31 local government area through capacity building to enable them undertake preparedness, mitigation, and response to flood and other disasters in the state in collaboration with NEMA. Furthermore, Your Excellency, few minutes ago, the team led by the DG NEMA paid a brief courtesy call on the governor, and to prove that the Akwa Ibom state government, led by the executive governor, Pastor Moino, is ready to move the state forward, graciously promised that when the administration gradually settles, that office building will be given to NEMA to draw them closer to settle in the state. To this, I want to say a very big thank you. Permit me at this point to officially welcome the entire team led by the DG NEMA, DG NIMET, and DG NIHSA to Akwa Ibom State. I want to welcome all the stakeholders seated in this hall, including our traditional fathers, to the flag off of this great event. Your Excellency, most importantly, I want to welcome you to this gathering as the chief host. May God bless us.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for that very elaborate welcome remarks. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make two quick comments before we go into the keynote address by the Director General of NEMA. The first being to kind of make an announcement that this event is going to be in two parts. The first part, which we've already started, just having the formalities for the flag off of what we are here for. And of course, after the formalities, which will end with His Excellency's address at this event, we'll now go into technical sessions where there will be proper presentations and training to strategic stakeholders involved in disaster management. I'm sure all the vice chairmen who are already here will be in that session, and other stakeholders, I'm sure they already know themselves, who have the direct responsibility of interpreting and implementing the presentations that shall be made here. That is one. The second, I'd like to crave Your Excellency's indulgence to acknowledge a very strong delegation from the United Nations High Commission on Refugee. I've just been notified that they are here. Not one, not two, about 5 personnel from that office. Please, can we celebrate them? Through them, let me just acknowledge on their behalf Mohammed Nafion from the head office. Thank you very much, and all other members of your delegation. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. Your Excellency, at this point, I'd like to welcome the Director General of NEMA, who will present the keynote address at this event. Let us therefore put our hands together and celebrate for his keynote address, Al-Haji Mustafa Habib Ahmed, for the keynote address. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Basi Eno, the wife of the Governor, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, the Honorable Speaker of the House of Assembly, my Lord the Chief Judge, distinguished senators, Director General NIMET, Director General NIHSA, SSG, Head of Civil Service, humanitarian agencies here present, particularly UNHCR, Chairman PDP, Akwa Ibom State, honorable members of Akwa Ibom House of Assembly, Chairman of boards and commission, State Coordinator of SEMA, service commanders, chairman of local government, vice chairman of local government, Disaster Management Committee, paramount rulers, specially invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It's a great pleasure for me and members of my team to visit Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, land of fulfillment, on this very important occasion of flagging off of the downscaling of disaster early warning measures to grassroots for effective life-saving early actions during the 2023 rainy season. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for his resounding victory in the recent general elections and his subsequent taking of oath as Executive Governor of the state. Your Excellency, I pray that God Almighty will guide you in the daunting task. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you may recall that the Nigeria Meteorological Agency and the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency have released 2023 seasonal climate prediction and annual flood outlook, respectively, early in the year. The two vital documents contained meteorological forecasts indicating early onset of rainfall and high probability of flood across the country during the year. It is on this premise that NEMA, drawing from its mandate of disaster risk management, decided to take the initiative of partnering with NIHSA and NIMET to downscale early warning alerts to states, local government authorities, and communities at risk of flood disaster and associated hazards. This will enable them to make appropriate plans that can save lives, livelihood, critical national assets, and the natural ecosystem, which is the bedrock of sustainable development. As we are aware, Nigeria, like other nations of the world, is faced with a growing rate of occurrence and growing intensity of both human and nature-induced disasters. Most of the nature-induced disasters are hydrometeorological in nature, powered by climate change and climate variability. Flood disaster in Nigeria has become predictable and yet annually recurring with substantial human and material cost. In line with NEMA paradigm shift towards disaster risk reduction and to take disaster risk management to the grassroots, we have decided to support subnational level actors, including states, local governments, and communities, to take ownership of their responsibility of disaster preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. We can only achieve this through the deployment of scientific information in form of impact-based predictions that constitute the foundation of early warning advisories and disaster risk mapping to be delivered to end users in disaster management and development planning. Earlier, as part of our disaster risk communication, we have written letters to all state governors and responsible partners, drawing their attention of imminent floods and associated secondary hazard during the rainy season to avoid a repeat of what we experienced last year. In 2022, Nigeria experienced the most devastating flood in our national history, with more than 4 million people affected, over 2 million persons displaced, and a record death of 665 Nigerians. The flood caused damage and destruction to about 355,986 houses and 944,989 hectares of farmlands. As we have always emphasized, there are different categories of disaster. Certain disasters can be avoidable, others can be transferable or adaptable. Yet you can only achieve this by deploying credible information, developing the right plans, and getting people at the grassroots take the right decision and provide timely response when disasters hit. It is worthy of note that disasters are all local. They happen in a particular community, in a particular local government area. The first life-saving responders are always local before additional support will come from the state capital or from the federal government. We must therefore strive to support our local emergency management committees, LEMCs, with adequate capacity building, funding, and equipment to take disaster risk management to the communities to build safe and resilient communities, and by extension, a safer and resilient Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy that we are here with experts from NIHSA and NIMET to support this initiative of the downscaling of disaster early warning measures to grassroots for effective life-saving early actions during the 2023 rainy season. Subsequently, we are deploying the same experts from NEMA, NIMET, and NIHSA to all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to downscale and take the early warning message to all relevant users across socioeconomic sectors. I'm very confident that this initiative will enable all responsible actors take risk-informed decisions to enable them match early warning with early action, support disaster risk management, safeguard national food security, and engender sustainable socio-economic growth in Nigeria. We are flagging up this event here in Uyo in consideration of the existing mutual support and collaboration between NEMA and Akwa Ibom State Government. I'm glad to announce that we have gone a long way in the process of setting up NEMA Operations Office here in Uyo to advance a new vista of collaboration and take disaster risk management to the next level. We most sincerely thank the governor for giving us an office and a warehouse, which we are going to take over very soon. This will enable the pre-positioning and stockpiling of relief items for easy deployment in the event of an emergency. Finally, I wish to thank the government of Akwa Ibom State for the typical hospitality and for supporting us towards the success of this event. I thank our esteemed partners, including Akwa Ibom SEMA, NIHSA, NIMET, and members of the press for all their continuous support to NEMA. Our decision to come to Akwa Ibom State is not a mistake. It's the right decision at the right direction. The collaboration and partnership we have started with Akwa Ibom State, this is just the beginning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the DG of NEMA, for that keynote address at this event. And thank you, too, to His Excellency, the government of Akwa Ibom State. There are clear indications that every time a good request is made in this administration, it will be granted speedily. And Akwa Ibom State cannot take the back seat. Can you put our hands together, please, and celebrate His Excellency, the governor? Your Excellency, for another brief remark at this event, the Director General of NIHSA, Engineer Clement Nze. Please, can we celebrate and bring him up to the microphone? Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, please permit me to stand on the already established protocols. Well, I don't have a written address to present, but I want to make a few remarks. One, coming into Akwa Ibom State, right from the airport, there is that kind of ambient environment, very neat environment, right to the hotel where we lodged. And the kind of reception we also received when we visited the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency, and also the Governor himself, that kind of liberty, I say freedom. And then coming into this hall, and there are a lot of people that are seated, quite, commendable. I think the governor is leading a happy people. There is a close relationship between the governor and the citizens. I'm saying this because by the work I have been doing over the years, I have been interacting with many governors in Nigeria. This is different. After our prediction in 2018 about the flood incident in Nigeria, we wanted to downscale it to states. We wrote a state governor that we are coming to tell you in your own state what will happen shortly. We gave money to our zonal coordinator to go and meet with the state SEMA, the chief executive in the state. This money should be given to the traditional rulers of these and these local government areas that will be affected by the flood, so that it will enable them to come to the city center to attend the meeting. And then all kinds of people will have to be mobilized. The state coordinator, or zonal coordinator came, he was turned down. Eventually, because we have already programmed the event, we have to go all the same. Being a university environment, we only interacted with only the students that came there. And then one director from a ministry came. That was all. An elderly man from the place, a father in the field of hydrogeology in Nigeria till today, 86 years old, based in Jos, he came for that event. He was crying and saying, I won't call the state anyway. The man was more or less shedding tears that he didn't see the people to address. He's an authority in the field of groundwater in Nigeria. Also, based on our work of my agency, which I will introduce briefly, we were to visit Mr. President then, His Excellency, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, constituted a presidential committee, and it was given 90 days to come up with an action that could be taken to reduce the impact of flood in Nigeria. And then I led a team that went to South-South. Other zones were visited. We went to Bayelsa and Rivers. I led the team. Bayelsa received us, Deputy Governor, and we went to the field everywhere in Bayelsa to look at the incident of flood for our report. Then the governor told us to outlet the team that, because the other state didn't accept us to come, with all the entreaties and reports and letters over months that we are coming, said we shouldn't come. The other governor, the deputy governor said, Bayelsa. The person that Mama went to market, the way he cries is different from the person whose Mama is dead. So for them in Bayelsa, it's like their mother is dead because of the flood incident. So they cry more than the other states. That's why they don't want you to come. So having said that, I want to appreciate the state government for the reception. The Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency, which I head, is responsible for carrying out a scientific prediction of flood incidents before ever it occurs in Nigeria. And this year, on the 17th of February, we made a public presentation as to the flood situations in Nigeria in the course of the year. And each of the 774 AGS in Nigeria has something to take away from. The prediction that we did, and what NEMA has helped us to package this event we are here now is a very welcome development. And for the first time, these three agencies are coming together in this kind of a meeting. We'll be meeting in Abuja, but I think this is the first time we are having an opportunity to meet to address a state. And because of the Akwa Ibom State's preparedness to take actions, that's why it was chosen to be the first place to go and launch this campaign. And from what I'm seeing from the gathering here, I believe strongly there will be some takeaways from here that will be downscaled down to the grassroots to ensure that lives and property will not be lost in this I appreciate you, His Excellency, for the warm reception and for the, taking personal responsibility in what is happening. Leadership comes from up to the bottom. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the Director General of NIHSA. Scientifically speaking, laced with a lot of anecdotes there. Of course, he was even prophetic at some point when he says His Excellency the Governor is leading a happy people. Of course, you know that this is the days of happy hours in Akwa Ibom State. Can we once again put our hands together and celebrate him, the DG of NIHSA, the last in the series of remarks at this event before His Excellency would come up to address us. Let me welcome the Director General of NIMET, Professor Bako Monso Matazu. Please put your hands together and celebrate that gentleman as he comes for his remarks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Base Eno, I beg to be allowed to stand on the existing laid out protocol. First of all, I would like to also appreciate the good people of this state. It's one state that we have so many things in common. I come from Katsina State, and both Akwa Ibom and Katsina State were established on 23rd of September 1987. And on another note, Your Excellency, I have so many things in common and affiliation with this state that while teaching in the university, I nearly picked a wife, a lady from Akwa Ibom State. We're very happy with this association of NIMET, NIHSA, and NEMA. And I want to tell this gathering that we have more in common than letter N. All of us having N, NIMET, NIHSA, and NEMA, but our activities are more in common because we deal with products and services that are perishable. And when you're dealing with products and services such as weather forecast, what the weather will be and what the weather will do, and what citizens, the last mile community should do to be able to mitigate the extreme events and also adapt to those changes that can enhance socio-economic development. So you require a platform. And we're very glad and happy that NEMA is providing that platform because in the climate services value chain, we as producers, we have no use if we don't have a platform to relay the focus and product to the communities. Because the products are perishable like moi moi, and we need user communication to be able to relay this. So we're happy with this partnership, and I'm happy to say that this is the most coordinated stakeholder downscaling workshop I've ever witnessed throughout my tenure, and I want to congratulate you. On this note, I bring you the greetings from management and staff of NIMET, and to congratulate the good people of Akwa Ibom State on the successful transition to a new government. Congratulations, sir. Your Excellencies, as you may be aware, I'm from the Nigerian Med Service. It's about 135 years old organization that was established in 1887. And our record shows that the first establishment of a weather station was done in the south-south in Basse, present Bayelsa States. And presently, NIMET, we are in custody of 135-year record of Nigerian weather and climate. And part of our mandate is to tell what the future weather and climate will look like. We do this with using state-of-the-art equipments, including satellite, radar, and other automated observation platforms, with highly skilled manpower and emerging communication strategy to reach out to all Nigerians with the focus informations. Your Excellency, these focus are not just information, but are regarded as early warnings. The United Nations, through the leadership of WMO, to which Nigeria is a strong member, and the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, UNDDRR, supported by International Telecommunication Union, ITU, and the IFRC, are among other leading organizations that discuss issues on early warning for all. And I remember vividly that the Secretary General of United Nations came out with an initiative for all citizens on this planet to be able to access early warning in the next 5 years. And on this note, I would like to mention that in Nigeria and in what we are doing in Akwa Ibom is the first step to be able to achieve this initiative. Your Excellency, the initiative targets making available multi-hazard early warning that is available to everyone in the next 5 years. While this might seem global, and the implementation targets both national and local levels. Your Excellency, speaking of national level, the Nigerian Meteorological Service have been involved in early warning since our establishment in 1887, then as British Colonial Met Department, with a prime target of ensuring that all Nigerians have access to early warning of impending weather and climate events. I'm very proud to also announce to you all that the agency has not only been issuing warning, but we have transited to forecasting what the weather will do. And that is called impact-based forecast. Ad initio, we normally mention that it's going to rain or temperature will be A, B, C, but we've gone further to tell the public and users that this weather will have potential impacts in so areas, and these are the advisories that you should do to be able to mitigate the extreme impacts. And this is well uploaded, and I'm also happy to announce that based on WMO ranking, Nigerian Med Service have been assessed as the best on the African continent based on this initiative of impact-based focus. In 2022 was a very, in terms of weather and climate events, was an extreme year for us. And as scientists, we've monitored this 3 years in advance because last year, 2022, we've witnessed what is called 3-deep La Nina. There is connection between the sea and the atmosphere. And this connection, we use an indicator called El Nino that monitors the sea surface temperature at the equatorial region of Central Pacific, and which has direct implication and trigger to our weather and climate. And this trigger is just like the relationship between our stomach and our face. Your Excellency, anytime one is hungry, you can see that from his face. And also, if one is belly full, you can easily also read that from his face. So there is this teleconnection relationship between the atmosphere and the sea in terms of weather-producing factors. And we've seen the prevalence of La Nina, that is the cold phase, 2019, 2020, and 2022. And this La Nina event enhances rainfall activities in this part of the world. And as a result of that, we've given enough warning. We've collaborated with NIHSA and NEMA. But as we know, disaster, you can never be 100% prepared for it. But last year was a very worst year for us, and we've learned a lot from it. And I think NEMA has taken the proactive step by bringing all of us together and starting with Akwa Ibom. So I want to mention here, Your Excellency, that just to recall that 24th of January precisely, we've released our forecast. And we do that in considering the size and complexity of our country and the diversity, so that we give enough lead time for planners, for government MDAs and state governments to be able to adopt and integrate this information. Highlighting in this document the vital weather and climate information and this multiplier implication to the socioeconomic developments. And these sectors include land transportation, water transportation, and including air. Agriculture, of course, 85% of Nigerian agriculture is rain-fed, and rainfall is variable, so you need weather information. We also provide information for health, tourism, sports, power, and energy. And this document has, especially for farming community, dates of onset and cessation. And for us, onset is just not the first rain. Onset is when you have well-established soil moisture that farmers can go to plant. And we have this information cutting across all the 774 local government areas of this country, including all the local government areas in Akwa Ibom states. We do also have cessation dates. I'm happy to announce this part of Nigeria. I wish I can transfer my village to this part because you have over 300 rainy days. And in my village, we only have 99 rainy days. So we have to go for drought, early maturing crops. So we do also have temperature forecast, especially as it affects other parts of our activities. And then also we provide meningitis and malaria forecast because this is being influenced by weather and climate. And also we put the socioeconomic implication of the predictions and also provide advisories. I want to also mention, Your Excellency, here that we do have a weather app that presently one can download, NIMET weather app, and in that app we have several information cutting across all the 774 local governments, and it doesn't require any personal information, it's very safe and secure. And then also our website is very active, and we provide up-to-date information, www.nimet.gov.ng. May I encourage Your Excellency that the state government, we've seen a lot of good practice from the onset, that you also should strive more to promote interagency collaborations for actualizing early action for disaster risk reduction and preparedness, as strongly demonstrated by the synergy between the three ends of NIMET, NIHSA, and NEMA. What we do for NIMET, while we produce the seasonal climate prediction, the information becomes part of the input that NIHSA integrate into developing the annual flood outlook. And of course, both the seasonal climate prediction and the annual flood outlook becomes an information input to NEMA climate disaster risk preparedness and mitigation strategies. This is an example of good practice, Your Excellency. And for us in NIMET, we call on all the stakeholders at every level in the climate service value chain, which we see here, to promote and implement early action. Whatever you get as information and as advisories, you should please implement as we continue to provide update as the season progresses. So on behalf of Nigerian Meteorological Agency, as you can see the advantage of collaboration, we are based, domiciled in Federal Ministry of Aviation, and the NEMA is in the presidency, while NIHSA is in Federal Ministry of Water Resources. But we work as a family, and since the coming of my senior brother, Habib, he has really strengthened this excellent relationship. And I'm happy we're starting with Akwa Ibom State. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Director General of NIMET. I'd like to make these remarks again before we bring up His Excellency for his address at this event, that at the end of His Excellency's address, the event will not end. It would only bring us to the end of the first part, where we would go into the second part, which will be the training sessions for the various stakeholders who would implement the project, as shall be presented by NEMA and the other organizations. Of course, His Excellency would like to take his leave at the end of his speech. And let me also announce that one of the promises that His Excellency made towards the end of his campaign is going to be flagged off today. At the end of his campaign, His Excellency undertook some road tours, and he saw a road that was economically viable, but not exactly so motorable. So today, we'll be flagging off that road. I'm only mentioning that so that we understand while His Excellency may need to take his leave after his speech. But everyone else who should be here should please remain. Of course, the government of Akwa Ibom State has made sufficient provision to ensure that everyone is fine. You won't learn with an empty stomach. just like the professor said. At this point, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to very respectfully invite His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Eno, as he makes his speech at this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, distinguished Senator Akone Yayi, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, my Lord the Chief Judge, thank you so much, ma, for coming this afternoon. Members of the National Assembly, distinguished senators, and members of the House of Representatives. The DG of Umaina Korea Campaign Organization, His Excellency Ambassador Sam Assam, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the wife of the former governor of our state, Mrs. Fumi Nkaa, that is here, the chairman of PDP Akwa Ibom State, deputy chairman, and members of our party that are here this afternoon. The DG NEMA, DG NIMET, and the DG NIHSA. We all welcome you to Akwa Ibom State and members of your staffs that are present here this afternoon. Honorable members of the Akwa Ibom House of Assembly that are here with us, the service commanders that are here this afternoon, I'm particularly glad that almost all of them are here because they will be critical to the management of emergency at any point in time. The Secretary to Government, Head of Service, Chairman of Boards and Commissions, Permanent Secretaries, Heads of Extra-Ministerial Departments, Heads of Humanitarian Agencies that are here with us, Coordinators SEMA and staff of Akwa Ibom, Service Chairman Algon, and other Chairman, Vice Chairman of local government areas that are here, senior citizens and stakeholders, our revered paramount rulers that are here with us this afternoon, labor leaders, heads of organized private sector, specially invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Akwa Ibom State, welcome you all to our dear state for this very important event. I'd like to appreciate the warm collaboration we have seen between the three agencies. And that gives us that strong hope and belief that whatever mistake we have made in the past will be arrested because all of you are seen as working together as one. This is our approach here in Akwa Ibom, where we also believe that ministries and other agencies must work together to achieve the same purpose in bring benefits to our people. So we'd like to appreciate this wonderful collaboration, and that was what inspired me when we had this discussion, knowing that three of you were coming together. You are what I may call the trifecta of disaster management in Nigeria. From disaster management, which is a key aspect of what the National Emergency Agency NEMA does, to weather forecast, which is a critical mandate of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, to flood control mechanisms, which is what Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, NIHSA, is primarily among other mandates dedicated to safeguarding. You have all done a great job. It is fitting that you have decided to take this event first to our dear state, given the fact that we are a coastal state that is prone to flooding and other erosion-related challenges. I must say that in Akwa Ibom, the previous government had done a lot to mitigate flood. The new map, all of the underground tunnels and all of that we have done, spent a lot of money sinking, putting on the ground to ensure that we avert flood. And that's why last year, we went, even though we were affected, but it was not so much because there's been a lot of mitigation. We're prepared to do more to ensure that we continue to keep our people safe. I'm particularly happy that chairmen of local governments are here, critical stakeholders are here, paramount rulers are here, and we'll be listening to you and to know the local governments that you have identified. I remember when we discussed, you told me about 15 local governments. So it will be important that we understand, we know them, we can start early, and I can assure you that we have a very strong deputy governor who will work assiduously to ensure that we make all the provisions ready for our people, because the very essence of our being elected into office is to serve the people. That's why we've given this meeting a very serious attention. Anything that will affect the well-being of our people must not be taken lightly. Through the State Emergency Management Agency, which is directly under the supervision of the Deputy Governor, we have been able to mitigate, through robust collaboration with your agencies, natural disasters such as flooding caused by heavy rainfall, which this season represents, and is always on the issue, an issue that concerns us as a state and as a people. Conducting sensitization programs and predictions such as this is a step in the right direction. That advanced nations such as the United States have succeeded in managing natural disasters such as hurricane, fire outbreaks, tornadoes, is because of the robust sensitization programs that are carried out by such agencies as federal emergency management agencies. And so we will not be left out. We will, like I've promised, work with you. I've already told you, and you have acknowledged such, that we are going to ensure that we give you an office, give you a warehouse. We don't pray for disaster, but we prepare just in case it happens. Let me reiterate that we stand ready to continue to collaborate with your agencies at all times. And of course, you can reach me directly at any time. It didn't take us long to fix this meeting once we were able to speak on phone. So we'd like to thank you for coming. I'd like to thank everyone that have been here this afternoon. Even though we'll take our leave, but please let the stakeholders, chairman of local government, vice chairman, other critical stakeholders will wait behind to ensure that we get on to the sensitization program. As the MC has announced, we are flagging off the India Road leading to Ruakbanandem Market this evening. It's a critical economic road that we need to do. I remember during the campaign, I passed through that road and I promised that if elected, we'll come back and do the road within 100 days. There are other roads too we are surveying. Please, we've told our people when they come to look at your roads, they should see the village heads or the paramount ruler where necessary. But please don't mistake them for the mapping thing. If you drive them away, you are denying yourselves of the privilege of our fulfilling the promises we gave to you. I said it the other day, I know there are lots of agitation and people are in court, and I know that whenever a case goes to court, everybody will maintain status quo. So please do not let us infuriate people, or do not let us make it as if when you see anybody carrying any instrument, remapping is not done by coming to, we're trying to align and ensure that we get something done. We're working on other road projects that the last administration couldn't complete. I'd like to assure everyone that those road projects will be completed. We will not leave any abandoned road project. That is a promise we made, because this is a government of continuity. We just ask that you give us time. And I believe we are working as hard as we can. And very soon, we'll have reason to celebrate as we commission all those roads and add to the other things that we want to do for our state. We thank you so very much for coming. We ask that the good Lord will bless this deliberation and then take away disaster from our state as we prepare adequately to ward off any of such. Thank you and God bless.